Welcome to the farm. Since I'm doing this whole series on training Rocketman to drive, doing stuff on the bare basics you need to start ground driving, how to get forward movement, it's only appropriate that I would do a video on the harness. Because if you're just starting out, the harness is very confusing. At least it was to me. I had been riding for a while, and so I was familiar with, of course, the bridle, but anything past the bridle I was clueless about. So I'm going to go real quick through the parts of the harness and where you put them on the donkey or horse. This harness is a very basic harness with a breast collar and not a work collar. It's probably the most common harness that I see. So that's the harness I'm going to show you. It's the harness I train with the most. So the first thing you've got is this piece right here, and sometimes these pieces will be apart. I've got it together here. This is called the saddle. I call it a harness saddle just to specify, since I do ride. Sometimes it seems weird to just say a saddle. So I say harness saddle. I don't know if that's correct or not. That's what I call it, a harness saddle. And it's going to have a little girth under here, so you can put it on your donkey. You want it to set back. If your donkey has a cross, that's a pretty good guide. Make sure your harness saddle is behind his cross. You want to make sure he's got some space between his armpit and the girth. On the harness saddle, you're also going to have these little loops here. Those are for the shafts. They're called tugs. A lot of times, incorrectly again, I call them shaft loops. The proper term is tugs. So you're going to have these, and this is where your shafts go. Then you've got a back strap here, and that hooks to your breeching. The breeching is really important if you are going on hills and rougher roads, because the breechings act as a brake to keep the cart from bumping into your donkey. A lot of times I see harnesses, especially some show harnesses, they don't have a breeching, they just have a crupper. But if you're going to ride on hills, you need a breeching, definitely. If there's any way at all that your cart might bounce into your donkey's hind end, you need a breeching. The breeching also has a crupper attached to it, and pick up your donkey's tail, put nicely underneath that breeching. And this needs to be adjusted a little. He's got a short back, shorter than the miniature horse I had this on. Pick up the tail. The crupper goes underneath the tail. And you can see he's pretty desensitized to the harness by now. These straps right here are what wrap around your shafts that will help keep your cart from bumping into your donkey. So, very important part of the harness. Make sure if you're buying a harness, please get a breeching. Okay, this is the breast collar. Your breast collar is what the donkey pulls with. The breast collar has these long straps here called traces. That's what hooks to your cart. Now, this particular harness, I had these pads added just to give a little bit more comfort. I felt like just the strap on the chest pulling something might be a little bit uncomfortable. I felt like this was probably much more comfortable, so I had pads added to the breast collar and the harness saddle. Your breast collar also has this right here. This is a neck strap. Just going to come around. Going to have two buckles here with this particular harness. You want to make sure they're nice and even. Don't want it to be wonky. Want it nice and even. I like to set it right here below the neck. You don't want it up on the neck choking him. Right below the neck, you don't want it down too far so it starts getting on his legs. You want it right here. Harness, saddle, breech, and crupper. That's the order I put stuff on. Then breast collar, which has the traces, hooks to the cart. And now most of you will be familiar with this. Different day, same subject. With the first video I did on the harness, Rocketman was really fidgety with the bridle. I didn't feel like the viewer could see it as well because he kept putting his head down and kept fidgeting. He had only had the bridle on a few times when I did that video. Now since he's been driving, he's used to the bridle a lot more, so I thought I would cut that part out and do a whole new bridle section to make sure you guys could see how I'm putting it on. A driving bridle is different from most of the riding bridles you might be used to seeing. I prefer the ones with blinders. There is a place on here for an overcheck, the piece that goes from the top of the bridle and then it will hook to the saddle harness. And the big challenge is getting their ears through this little space right here. You're gonna put the bit right between the lips, slide it in their mouth, fold their ear over one at a time as gently as possible, pull down, make sure the blinders are not touching the eyelids, and then you will put your reins on your bit and back through the loops of your harness, and you're ready to work. To take it off, just I'll slide over the ears and catch the bit. Good boy. And that's it for the bridle. Rocketman behaves much better now with the bridle. It just takes time. The bridle, I mean it feels weird. There's something in their mouth. Even if you're using a side pull, you're gonna have more pressure there. So definitely if you're using blinders, that feels weird. Just give them time to adjust. The difference between the first time I put the bridle on and now is totally different. Be easy and gentle as possible when you put the halter on them and put their ears through it. The ears can be a big deal if your donkey is very sensitive to their ears being touched. To help desensitize, I do lots of ear scratches, ear rubs, a lot of click and treat. Get them real gentle about their ears and used to their ears being touched. Back to the original video. Reins. Probably know what these are too, especially if you've been ground driving. Reins. I like reins that have these little easy clips on them, so I can clip on and off. I don't like the kind that are difficult to get on and off. The bit I've got on him is just a simple snaffle bit. Hope this helps you guys with your harnesses. I know they're confusing. They were super confusing to me when I first started. So hope this is helpful and as clear as possible to help you know what you need when you go to look to buy a harness and help you harness up your donkey. Rocketman, you ready to go work?